Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton. The Broken Man. The story is framed by an unnamed narrator who encounters Ethan Frome in the bleak New England town of Starkfield. Ethan is a grim, silent, and physically broken man, a source of mystery and pity for the townsfolk, who hint at a tragic story in his past. A glimpse of warmth. The narrative shifts to 24 years earlier. Young Ethan Frome lives on an isolated, poor farm with his sickly, hypochondriac, and bitter wife, Zeena. Their life is one of quiet desperation until Zeena's young cousin, Mattie Silver, arrives to help with household chores. Forbidden attraction. Mattie's youthful energy and warmth bring light into Ethan's grim existence. A deep, unspoken affection grows between them, offering Ethan a glimpse of the happiness and love he has been denied. Their feelings remain restrained by Ethan's sense of duty and fear. A moment of hope. Zeena announces she must travel overnight to a nearby town to see a new doctor. Ethan and Mattie are left alone for an evening, which feels like a precious gift. They share a quiet, intimate supper, and for a moment, Ethan allows himself to dream of a different life. The crushing blow. Zeena returns and reveals her true purpose for the trip. She has consulted a doctor who insists she needs a full-time, paid hired girl. She coldly announces that Mattie must be sent away as they can no longer afford to keep her, shattering Ethan and Mattie's fragile hope. A desperate plan. Driven by despair after a final, painful parting from Mattie, Ethan realizes he cannot bear to let her go. In a moment of passionate impulsivity, he decides to run away with her, but immediately recognizes the impossibility of the plan due to his poverty and responsibilities. The fateful ride. Unable to envision a future together, Ethan and Mattie are overcome with despair. As he drives her to the train station, Mattie suggests that since they cannot be together in life, they should die together. She proposes a suicide pact by sledding directly into the large elm tree at the bottom of the town's treacherous slope. The failed escape. In a final, tragic embrace, Ethan steers the sled toward the tree at high speed. However, at the last second, he swerves instinctively, missing the tree trunk. They crash violently into the tree with immense force. A life of consequences. Instead of granting them a release, the crash leaves both Ethan and Mattie severely and permanently injured. They survive but are crippled for life. Ethan is left with a lameness that matches his initial description, and Mattie is broken and left in constant pain. The living tomb. The narrative returns to the present. The narrator learns that Zeena was forced to take care of both invalids after the accident. The three now live together in silent misery on the Frome farm, trapped in a bitter and hopeless existence, their lives a perpetual punishment for their moment of passion and desperation. Ethan Frome is a devastating tragedy that explores the crushing weight of duty, societal constraints, and the relentless power of isolation. Ultimately, the novel argues that the consequences of desperate actions are not death and escape, but a fate far worse, a living death, trapped in a perpetual state of suffering with the very sources of one's misery.